A Pittsburgh jury has convicted the man responsible for the Tree of Life Synagogue mass shooting.
Robert Bowers was found guilty of all 63 counts connected to the 2018 massacre that killed 11 people and injured 6 more. The trial will now take a 1-week break before moving to the sentencing phase. The jury will then decide whether Bowers should get the death penalty, something that federal prosecutors have been seeking.
The head of the Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh spoke after the verdict, saying the community is preparing for the next phase of the trial.
We know that there is still more to come. This is only the first phase. And as someone who was in the courtroom today, I can personally speak about how emotional this was to be in there with so many of the families I've gotten to know from that horrible day in 2018. And to be in the room with the person who committed this heinous anti-Semitic crime.
Joining us with more, CBS News Pittsburgh reporter Meghan Schiller. Meghan, this verdict was not a surprise. The defense didn't offer any evidence or contest the fact that he was guilty of having committed these murders. Talk to us about that strategy.
Yeah, that definitely was the strategy of the defense, so much so that the defense attorney that delivered closing arguments, first thing out of her mouth was that there is no disputing the facts here. And there is no disputing the fact that the gunman walked into the Tree of Life Synagogue that Saturday morning with a loaded AR-15 and walked through the synagogue with methodical precision, cold and calculated and deliberate precision, according to the defense attorney's words, and proceeded to kill 11 worshipers, injuring many others, including injuring many police officers that responded that day. But their main argument is that even though it makes no sense and even though there's no truth to it, that the gunman that day had a belief that one of the congregations inside that synagogue was helping HIAS, which was helping to resettle refugees here in the Pittsburgh area. That they were. It was Congregation Dor Hadash. And in the months and in the weeks leading up to the shooting, he had become almost obsessed with HIAS and with Dor Hadash and with the fact that he believed that these refugees were coming here to the United States and to Pittsburgh and that they were doing things, terrible things to our people and to our children. So that was his obsession. The defense attorney said it made no sense and there's no truth to it. But she argued that he wasn't going in there to kill Jews, but that he was going in there to try to stop the resettlement of refugees.
It's chilling, Meghan, to hear those details. Next is the penalty phase. What can we expect with that part of the trial?
Yeah, the very next thing is the jury will decide if the gunman is death penalty eligible. There are several of those 63 counts that are eligible for the federal death penalty, and the jury will decide if they think that he fits the bill. Now, we will hear more testimony, for a lack of a better term. There is a deadline that the defense will have to provide any mental health evidence. They're going to have to finally say what they are going to tell the jury and even tell the prosecution as to what contributing factors led to his state of mind when this happened. I know they have said in the past that he suffers from a couple of issues, including they've said schizophrenia, and he had a very troubled childhood. But we're going to hear more in that phase of whether or not his state of mind was something where he was able to be basically put up for the death penalty. And that's something that the jury will have to decide before they go into the third and final phase, which is the sentencing, where they will decide between life in prison or if he'll be sentenced to death.
Now, Meghan, this was the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history. You have been covering it during every step of the way. Now that the guilty verdict has been returned, can you tell us anything about the response that you're seeing?
Yeah, the response inside the courtroom was one of, just picture the biggest sigh-in and release that you can imagine. That is what was happening. I was staring at the back of Michelle Rosenthal. Both of her brothers were murdered inside the synagogue, and she looked like she was releasing tension that she's been holding for years. Carol Black was hiding in a pitch black room when the gunman came in to try to find her, and they read the guilty verdict for all of her charges, and she was so relieved when that happened, and she smiled, and you could just tell that this was something that, even though it doesn't change anything and it doesn't bring any of their loved ones back and it doesn't change the horror that they endured, it's definitely step one for these victims. And they all hugged and started crying as soon as they were able to leave the courtroom and embrace each other in the hallway.
Such an emotional scene, I imagine. Meghan Schiller, Meghan, thank you.